Good morning, everybody. Day 4 of Karen Reed. Hope you guys are all doing well. We got a nice whole little contingent of everybody ready to go. Unhung Hero for $2 says, well, I'm going to come. Well, don't come. Don't come. Content Lasagna says they're really dragging this one out. 6 weeks of this, yeah. Remember, the prosecution thinks they have a banger of a case. They think they have a banger of a case right now. Anyways, Chili's still in jail asking for a friend. Yes, he's in jail for a while still. He's going to be in jail for a bit. Chili is not going to be around to experience white boy summer. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much. And KRM says, if it's any consolation, Sean, who wasn't initially interested in the trial, now is. Yeah. Yeah. I won't speak. Oh, he's like saying, I won't speak for Sean, but the state has not done anything to prove the case. Pretty much. Pretty much. Also, I'm sorry, normally for like these trials, I try to wear a collared shirt or something. It's Friday. Yeah, I am not impressed. If this is what they've got, because remember, it sounds like the whole taillight thing is either the things don't line up for the state, and even let's say there was broken glass, there's going to be ways things can be interpreted. The issue of what Karen Reed actually said or didn't say is still up for debate, and there's a massive problem with that. If you're fighting it like that, how do you actually have what you think you need right there? I am not impressed. This is not happening in a way that I'm confident the state actually knows what they're doing. So, guys, we're only a couple minutes behind. We are gonna get started. We are gonna get started here. But yeah, I'm just this is not a good trial in the sense of the state actually being able to prove their stuff. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Don't think it's gonna happen. So yes, hello to everybody. And Matt for 7.99 Australian dollar reduce, almost $8 reduce. Says hi. PC question regarding held in custody but not found guilty. What happens the entire time you were held in jail? Can it count towards a future crime compensation? Well, that's the funny thing. So, yeah, you don't get a credit. You don't get a credit for future crimes. You can't bank that, which sucks. But let's say you got a cute. Let's say Karen Reed, she couldn't post bail. She either had to choose between bond. She had to pay bonding out or paying for attorneys. And she paid for attorneys, and she spent 2 years in jail. Gets to the end and not guilty. You know what the judge says? Have a nice day. You're free to go. Then what? Well, you're free to go. Can you turn around and sue for that? Nope. State says, look, we thought it was her. We had a probable cause of good faith belief it was her. Oopsie. Now, if you can prove there was some illegality going on there, maybe you might have a case. But generally speaking, your prize is that you are no longer incarcerated. Have a nice day. Sadly, that's the truth. At least here in America. So. Parallax says, if I'm being sued by defamation, should I keep making statements while the case is ongoing? Generally, no, you shouldn't do that. You should stop while you're ahead. So, and speaking of getting ahead, we need to catch up here. So, this is day 4. We're still going with one of the female paramedic who arrived on scene, and yeah, she doesn't remember a whole lot about what happened. Well, let's go. Oh, we're only come on, tell me where we're at here. All right, here we go, chat. Only 3 minutes behind. Yannetti is beating ass. Okay, let's go. Actually, hold on. Where are we at here? Okay, let's see here. Don't know what this is about. This might be a scheduling and logistic issue they're working out for this afternoon. Remember, we're doing a half day because they're going to do a jury view. They are going to go. Yeah, is it showing up yet? I tried to reshare it. They're still. They just introduced themselves. They have not had a witness yet. Both parties put themselves on the record. So they went up there. I think there might be a logistics issue. The judge is just figuring out, like, how late are we going to go? How long is this going to go? Are we going to do lunch and then head out? Or how are we doing this? Maybe there's an issue about the weather today. Because remember, this is an outdoor jury view. It's an outdoor setting. If this was like a murder that happened inside like a parking garage, well, they could go inside a parking garage in the rain. So that will be, it'll be interesting to see how that gets sorted out. Yeah, I reshared it. Let me know if it's working. Scott says, "Hey, stop streaming against us." Hey, Scott, I'm sorry. This actually turning out to be a pretty good trial right here, so I apologize. Besides, I already started earlier this week, so. Magoo says, if Ivers' family has been sitting in court and testifying, I would have some serious doubts about the investigation, and I would be pissed. I mean, yeah, that would be a thing. Would you be very mad that it sounds like the police kind of flubbed this and didn't really get stuff done right? Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, that
Court reporter.
a lot of times these people have generally speaking, they've been promised and they're very confident in the case. Besides, at the end of the day, all these people know that she did it and that she's guilty. And they know at the end of the day she's gonna get convicted. So a lot of times they very much are believing that it's on their side. I'll say the People versus OJ is a good example of that. Like the Goldman family, they thought it was a conviction no matter what, and it's part of that's because you're believing that you have that you get a bit of a delusional belief that nothing can change it. You know the facts, and the facts aren't disputed, except they are. So we'll see. We'll see.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you.
All right, so here we go. We're like 30 seconds off, so we're going to speed this up to catch up.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lally.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, I have a few more questions for you. So, I'll turn your attention to the period of time you testified about yesterday when your at Mr. O'Keefe was in the back of the ambulance. With respect to his clothing, what, if any, observations did you make in regard to that?
I hate what, if any. Oh my God.
He had, in terms of what he was wearing.
First, in terms of what he was wearing.
He was wearing jeans. He had on a dark colored light zip up jacket. And I noticed one sneaker.
Now, with regard to that clothing, what, if any, observations did you make in regard to the condition of that clothing?
It was soaked through.
Yeah, it's outside in the snow. It's going to get wet. Duh.
As far as tears or holes or anything else with regard to that clothing, what, if any, observations did you make of that?
I didn't see any.
Ms. Gilman, if I could have exhibit number 18. May I approach the witness room?
Yes. Okay.
Now, first firefighter McLaughlin, do you recognize what's up on the screen as exhibit 18?
Do I
You
recognize
recognize
what it is? Yes.
And what do you recognize it to be?
The address of the call, 34 Fairview Road.
Now, with respect to this photograph, you observed within it or where Mr. O'Keefe was on the ground when you first arrived?
From this angle, no, I don't.
And if you could, it was not on the photograph. Is it off to the left, the right, or where would it be in relation to the photograph?
To the left, I would say.
And about how far off frame do you believe it was?
I'm not sure. So my view of the call was, my reference point wasn't a house on either side. The patient was off the road. So my view of this call was the patient was on the side of the road. The only thing that I noted was a fire hydrant. So in relation to, I know it was to the left of the house, but I'm not sure exactly how far left it would be from this picture, from this angle.
So your memory is to the left of the house near a fire hydrant, is that correct?
Yes.
Take that down. I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Morning.
You responded to the call of an unresponsive male in the snow at 34 Fairview. That was the address you recalled, right?
Correct.
The house you just looked at, that is in fact 34 Fairview, right?
Correct.
As Mr. O'Keefe was being transported by ambulance, you were instructed by firefighter Flamati to get information about the victim, Karen Reed, correct?
He wasn't being transported by the ambulance at that time. He was on the stretcher. And Tony, who was at the head of the stretcher, asked me to get information from Miss Reed about the patient, but he wasn't being transported in the ambulance at that time.
Who's Tony?
Firefighter Flamati.
We haven't gotten to the women who found him.
When you did, in fact, did you follow those
We don't know yet.
directives?
I did.
When you finally approached
Good question,
Miss
though.
Reed in order to get that medical history as best you could, what did the scene look like? Who was with you or around you?
So they started to move the stretcher towards the ambulance. Miss Reed was sort of, I guess I would describe it as moving around the scene. So she was moving, kind of going in circles. So I was really just focused on her, trying to get her to converse with me and get those questions. So that I wasn't really noticing anything else at that point. I was more just trying to contact her, and she was moving around.
What were you wearing at the time?
Oh no.
I had my
There's no horses here.
like winter fire jacket on.
What color is it?
It's yellow and red.
Bright yellow for safety purposes.
Yes.
It's an ASMR stream.
When you began your actual questioning, once everybody sort of stood still, you began your questioning of Miss Reed. You were standing in one spot. Miss Reed was standing to your right. Is that right?
Well, the questioning started, as I said, she was moving around the scene. So the questioning was ongoing as she was moving around to different locations. I don't know exactly how many of the questions I got out during the time that she was moving around. At one point, we did come to a stop. And at that point, she was to my right.
That's the point I want to focus your attention on, if I could. When you came to a stop, that's the point at which you recall the statement being made that you attribute to my client.
Yes.
Okay. And in that group, who was there? I want to make sure I understand this
It
exactly.
was me and the ghost who tells no
So
lies.
there was Miss Reed to my right. There was a civilian woman to my left.
Civilian.
There
woman.
was
I hate that
a
term.
police officer who was not directly across from me, but I would say maybe diagonal to me, closer to Miss Reed.
Your Honor, I'm holding a photograph of this has been shown to the Commonwealth. May I approach?
Yes.
I'll show you Ms. McLaughlin, a still photograph. I'm going to ask you to take a quick look at that photograph and look up after you've studied it for a second and tell me if you recognize people that are in that photograph.
I recognize people in it.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes. Is this an exhibit or are you moving to introduce it?
I'm moving to introduce it. It has not been introduced as yet.
Okay. So go ahead and have the witness adopt it.
Sure. Do you see the person closest to frame? Closest to the camera,
Yes,
in what appears to be a yellow and red jacket.
yes,
Who's that?
that would be me.
Who's to your right?
It appears to be Miss Reed,
And to your left?
a civilian woman,
And across, as you said, sort of diagonal, closer to Miss Reed is,
a police officer.
Yes, that's
do you
so
know that
cringe.
officer's name, by the
El
way?
I don't know his
Crinjo
name.
Muiosto Grande.
Your Honor, with that, I would ask that this be marked as next in order.
Okay. Is there any objection?
No objection.
So we are going to remark these exhibits today because of the problems that I indicated at
We're gonna
sidebar.
remark them.
Um,
Remarkable.
How do you want to do this, Madam Reporter? I don't know where we
Oh, I'm
start
sure the
from.
reporter wants to fucking kill somebody right now. They have to redo all this. Jeez. Oh,
Tori, how many are in evidence?
a lot already.
Folks, it's my responsibility to make sure the record is intact. And you've heard numbers 1, 3, 309, 247. We need to straighten this out to make sure it's appropriate for you. You know what, Madam Clerk, Madam Court Reporter, just mark it as the next
Mark it,
exhibit
like
number,
marky
whatever
mark.
in the hundreds that is, and we'll take care of this today. I don't want to waste your time, folks, while we do this, but it's very important that we do it.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
All right.
Hey, this judge thinks she's on NPR when she talks. That's fine.
All right. So there was any objection to that from the Commonwealth?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, this is the time or the scene that you've told us about when you heard the statement that you've
She's like,
attributed to my
oh,
client,
God
correct?
damn it.
Sorry, say that again.
Judge Hufflepuff.
This is a moment in time, it captures a moment in time when you're standing there. To your right is Karen Reed, which you've described. To your left is a civilian female, which you've described. And across from you is an officer, which you've also described.
Yes,
So this would be the time or close in time to the time that you heard the statement that you attribute to Ms. Reed, correct?
yes.
The first time you ever made that official report, an official report to law enforcement regarding that statement was January 30th, 2022, correct?
Well, yes and no. The statement was made in front of the police officer, so that would technically be the first time that statement was made to a police officer in my presence. And then, yes, I testified to it on January 30th, as you said.
You
What?
said it on January 30th. You weren't testifying under oath, correct?
Okay, said it.
Okay.
Yes.
My question
Wow, that
really, and I
that was
appreciate
kind of an
you
admission.
clarifying. My question was really the first time you actually told this statement to any law
What the
enforcement officer
hell?
was on January 30th.
Yes.
Okay, we can take that down. That was when you met with
That was
Trooper Michael
revealing.
Crockett, correct?
Yes.
Obviously, that was very close in time to the event. It was the next day. Is that right?
Yes.
The events were close.
The 29th. Yeah. So it would be the next day.
Right, 29th, 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. The events were fresh in your mind at that time.
Yes.
You obviously knew about the importance of that interview. You knew that it dealt with a police officer who had passed.
I knew it was important to talk to the police about what I heard.
and you wanted to be accurate.
Yes.
You wanted to be as detailed as you possibly could.
Yes.
And you understand
was
that
my
memories,
job.
obviously, they get a little worse with time, not better with time, right?
Sure.
The closer in time you are to the event, the fresher your memory is going to be about the details of that event. You would agree with that, right?
Sure.
You told Trooper Proctor the day after the event, on January 30th, that the statement that you attribute to my client was actually made to the female, not to you in response to your questioning. That's what you told Trooper Proctor, correct?
I don't have those notes in front of me, so I don't know that I can tell you that that's correct, but the statement was made in response to my question. However, the Miss Reed was looking at the civilian woman as she said that.
Does it refresh your recollection that what
Don't read what you think refreshes a recollection. You can show or you
Yeah,
cannot
right.
read it. Yes.
take a look, the highlighted portions of that report, and look up when you're finished.
Huh.
Okay.
This Trooper Proctor's going to
Yeah.
be the star of the
Sure.
show, it
Yes.
sounds like. I mean, some of you already know that. You know the Karen Reed lore. I don't.
Does that refresh your recollection about what you told Trooper Proctor on January 30th?
Yes.
And you told Trooper Proctor,
No,
quote,
let her,
In terms of-
hold on. I'll see you, Ted.
Oh, is he? He's kind of rushing it. She looks like she's about to cry, though. Am I wrong, guys? It's post-transition, Nick. Wolf. She looks like you don't want to. Oh, she looks entirely like you want to cash her outside. It looks like she's about to cry. It looks like she's about to cry, guys. I think she's about to oh my God, they're confronting me. We can't stand this judge. If he's not doing it right. Yeah, and why is the judge objecting? Okay, so here's the deal. There are some judges who proactively get in the way. Why? Because they want to protect the record and they want to keep it clean, and they don't like that. So she's not objecting on behalf of the state. She's like, I don't need you mucking this up. Do it the right way.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
In fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was, quote, Karen then turned to her friend and stated, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. End quote. Correct?
Okay.
Is that yes?
Yes, if you're saying that's in quotation marks in that, then yes.
And on the
That's what's in
box.
the report.
Okay.
And you don't have to agree with me. I'm asking yes or no questions. It's not okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in fact, what you told Trooper Proctor was that Karen Reed looked at the female to your left and said 4 times, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, correct?
Yes.
And have you since learned the name or identity of the female that was standing to your left?
No.
You're aware that the female that was standing to your left reported the exact same statement?
No.
Are you aware that the female standing to your left reported that exact same statement as, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Did I hit him?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Ooh.
You then went back to the ambulance after you heard that statement that you believed you heard my client state.
Yes.
You opened the ambulance door, correct?
Yes.
That was the
The
back
Bamba
door,
lamps.
The side door.
the side door. And there were two firefighter paramedics in that ambulance at the time, correct?
I believe there were more than 2 at that time.
2 of them included firefighter Nuttall and firefighter Flamani.
Yes.
And at that point, you told them what you believed you had just heard.
So I went into the back of the ambulance. I said, this is his name. This is his date of birth. She says he doesn't have any medical history or allergies, doesn't take daily medications. And then I said, she's saying I hit him. And firefighter Nuttall motioned to his face and said something.
Objection, Your Honor.
Ask another question.
Yeah.
So the answer to my question is
Rough. She's
Yes.
objecting to your own
you
thing.
told in front of Flamani and Nuttall the phrase, I hit him.
Yes.
You didn't write that in any report?
I don't write a report in this scenario of my job.
Let her finish the answer, please.
So there are two people that will write reports in my department on a call. One being the lead paramedic and the other being the officer who's on scene. So those are the people that write reports, and I was neither of those, so I did not write that in a report.
Okay.
That's correct.
So let me ask the question again. You didn't write it in any report?
No.
You didn't write it in any notes?
No.
You didn't document that statement in any way whatsoever, correct?
Other than my interview with Proctor and my subsequent testimony.
You didn't document that statement in any way yourself, did you?
No.
Since January 30th, in that conversation that we just talked about with Trooper Proctor, your statement has evolved. Is that right?
I don't know how to answer that.
You testified yesterday to something quite different
Not quite different.
than what you testified, I'm sorry, than what you stated to Trooper Proctor.
Respectfully, I think my testimony has been pretty consistent.
But
You
has
testified to
it?
something yesterday quite different in context than what you told Trooper Proctor. Isn't that right?
Yes, it was your
I don't
fault.
know that that's right.
Well, you told Trooper Proctor, Karen Reed looked at a female standing to your left, said, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. Right?
Yes.
Yesterday, you told these jurors that Karen Reed said, I hit him, and an officer said, you what? And she repeated, I hit him, and the officer immediately turned and went to find another sergeant. Is that right or no? Yes or no?
No, there was more to that testimony.
That's
I
not what you
think.
said yesterday?
I think I said more than that, than what you just repeated.
Is what I said consistent with what you said yesterday? There's a lot of things that you said, more of.
Ooh,
I'm asking,
God,
is that the sum and
that's
substance
big.
of what you told these jurors yesterday?
Yes.
So you would agree that from that time till yesterday, your story has evolved. It's changed.
Would I agree with that?
No.
I don't know that I agree with that.
You think the story that you told Trooper Proctor is exactly the same?
I understand what you're saying. So I understand what you're saying.
So has your story evolved?
Okay.
Ooh, wow. Uh-oh. Did something freeze up here? Hold on, chat. What the hell's going on?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow. No cry. No cry. Yes, it's DJ
Mr.
Qualls
Coughlin,
post-op.
who's Caitlin Albert?
I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert.
Somebody named Caitlin Albert.
I went to high school with somebody named Caitlin Albert.
I bet you were
Do you
more
know
than
Caitlin
just
Albert?
know her.
I do.
Friends with Caitlin Albert?
I would say more acquaintances,
Ooh.
not close friends.
How do you describe an acquaintance?
Did you guys make out at pillow parties?
I would say that we have mutual friends, so we might see each other occasionally because of mutual friends, but we don't have a one-on-one friendship or hang out regularly.
Who's her dad?
I don't know.
Objections. Do you know who her family is?
Objection.
Sustained.
May we approach her?
Yes.
Well, that was getting interesting, chat. Wow. Wow. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yes, her eyebrows are in her hairline. Did you know this person? Well, I kind of knew her. What does kind of know her mean? Yeah, it sounds like she knew where the fuck she was. Yeah. It's always about a guy. Oh, it's about multiple guys. Yeah, so we now know the EMS girl knows who Caitlin Albert is. So, well, there's something the state doesn't want out. Yeah. It's weirding me out that Reed still looks like an older AOC. Yeah. She doesn't have AOC's big Latina booty, though. So, look at all those reporters. Oh, do you hear the beeping? Boop. Wait, were her and Caitlin on an episode of Black? Yeah. Well, I was going to say, one of these women that we're going to show up with is one that O'Keefe was probably shipping around with. Look, oh, they're talking. He's like, I'm going to fuck you so slowly. Get ready. He's like, check this shit out. The jury's being given a break. They just started. Why do they need a break?
All right. Ms. McLaughlin, I'm going to let you step out for a few minutes. Show them what you have and let a court officer know when you're ready for me to come back out.
All rise for the court, please.
What? What just happened here? Hold on, we're going back.
Out for a few minutes. Show them what you have and let a court officer know when you're ready for me to come back out.
All rise for the court, please.
What is all this? What is all this? Well, there's Celine Dion. If you love me like this, will you hold me? Is that how the song goes? It's all coming back to me. Oh yeah, but now look, now we got that view. Look at that, cracks in the plaster. The plaster's cracked. Better call Mark. He needs to fix the plaster. The witness has something. Yeah, I don't know. Jim Steinman wrote that song. Chat may have been on to something. Social media pictures are coming. Yup. Yep. Mark. Yes. Something's up. Something's up, guys. Uh-oh. Evangelina Jolie. Yes. Jennifer Aniston. Selma Fanny. Nah, that doesn't work as well. Jennifer Aniston. There is a picture of the medic and the lady from a spring break trip drinking together. I've seen that picture floating around Twitter. That's who that is. Uh-oh, chat. Oh, no. State asked the judge stop the defense from destroying them. Well, yeah, that's how that works. Makfa says, what happens at the viewing? Do lawyers talk? No. Nope. Nobody talks. There is no presentation of evidence. Well, okay, so the scene itself is evidence. The view is evidence. But there's no, like everybody sits down in chairs and the prosecutor and defense attorney go at it in front of the judge. Nope. When you go up on a jury view, the way it works. Now, I've only had one case where this ever happened. So you go out, you do the jury view. The jury's told, if you're going to like a parking lot, you're like, here's the parking lot. Now, they may mark out where things were. So they may go, in this case, they may mark out where was John O'Keefe's body found? Where was it at? They put a flag in the ground. Flag number 1. And they might mark that. The rest of that is going to be left alone. They're not going to touch it, and they'll say, take note the crime scene may have changed since then, and then the jury gets to walk around. Like, we'll give you 15 minutes. Take a look. You can look around and do whatever you want. Now, remember, they don't have phones or things like that, but they can have their notepads and they can take notes. And what happens? Well, the defense attorney, you just, kind of standing there, just, you may sit there and make a little small talk with your client, but you're very, very quiet. And you're just watching, seeing what they're looking at, because you might get an idea of what they're looking at. Then the prosecutor's just kind of standing there too. Then the judge is just standing there. The bailiff standing there, and jurors just fuck around for a little bit, and then they get back in the bus, and they come back to court. Now, there are times where, when I had to do the jury view as a defense attorney, actually, no, wait, did I? Nope, no, that's when I was in the prosecutor's office. The jury view was for the police chase. So the way it worked is the guy drove all over the county, and we showed them where he went. And it was just so the jury could, they could also realize it was like a 10-mile chase, 10, 15-mile chase. But they also got the feel for where he was driving. He drove through one of the little villages at like 95 miles an hour. And all we said was, ladies and gentlemen, this is an exhibit. This is the path of the chase. And beginning here and starting here. Everything before this, don't worry about. And we got to the end. We stopped and said, this is the stop. This is where the chase ended. This is the end of the jury view. Please don't consider what you see after this point, because then the bus drove back. It drove back, and we got stuck behind a tractor, and then there was like construction in the way and stuff like that. So you had to tell the jury, look, here's the part you're looking at. The jury should ask for a reenactment. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense how you would do a jury view. That's typically the way they'll do it. Where is it? Because the other Mavka, the other way we've done jury views was like the George Kelly trial out in Arizona. Wow, I did not realize how bright I am today. Jeez. Washed out. There we go. Some of you might say washed up, but so George Kelly's situation, like, there was a dead body that was found. And there was a flag in the ground, dead body. They also put a flag in the ground. Here's where all the shell casings were that George Kelly fired. And we found, here's where all the shell casings were. And they put a couple of things out on the property because it was a crime scene that was like 150 yards wide. Through a bunch of rolling sagebrush and mesquite trees and tall grass. So they put some flags up so the jury could figure out what was going on. And they had to walk the jury around through part of this guy's ranch. So they got an idea of what was happening. So that's how that works. That's generally how jury views work. But the big thing is there's not always a jury view because the scene isn't always relevant. Now, that's something for the prosecution and the defense to decide. I'm sure they both actually agreed, yes, let's go to the crime scene here. But they don't want you going out there because on your own as a juror, let's say something happened. Like there was a tree and the tree got cut down. You'll be like, well, there's no way nobody could have not seen this. Or we're like, no, there was like a tree there. Or, a year ago, there was a building here. Like how, you don't know what was here. You don't know what wasn't here before. If we're not showing it to you, there might be a reason why we're not. And because we've had that, that happen sometimes. Girls will go out and do their own homework. Well, do you know what you were looking for? And a lot of times the answer is no, you don't, because you don't know why you're not being shown something. So something to think about. I hope that answers it for you. Yes, it's Dakota Fanning. Also, guys, I'm sorry I sound a little snuffly today. The weather has gotten a little cold. Dropped a couple of degrees, so my allergies and everything are acting up. Let me see. Yes. Oh, Eric's right. Yes. Oh, whoa, Fendi. You came in and breezed all over me. Oh, God, that's good, Eric. American Dreamer says, did she know ahead of time? Did she know what? That she was going to get ambushed with that question? Probably not. Yes, they should. No, I'm serious. They should take this is where, with jury views, you got to be careful about how you fuck with them. Like OJ's, that thing about Johnny Cochran coming in, like, no, we need to make this like a black guy's house because the black jurors are coming in. That really happened. But yes, in the Kieran Reed case, they need to go rent a snow machine. It's just like, just snow all over the neighborhood. Charlie says, I feel like they could do without going to the crime scene. They could be shown pictures of various angles and accomplish the same thing. You're right. But as the defense, you have the right to present your case. And you have the right to demand, no, I want the jury to see what it looks like there. The prosecution and their ability to present a case. They had the right to say, no, Your Honor, I want the jury there. Now, not every case is going to need a jury view. Like, not every single, generally you're not going to get it for little piddly shit. But in a murder and something like this, yeah, that's not unreasonable. Like, let's say it was something like Kyle Rittenhouse's case. That would be a good one. Going to that car lot. This is kind of getting your bearings for the area. Because remember, part of the issue is, too, those cameras are blurry and the snow is everywhere. So it helps give the jurors some perspective. Wilder's saying, in the Carolinas, it works way differently, by the way. Remember the Murdaugh case? Yeah. And the way they did it down there, I think is highly objectionable. Highly questionable, the way they did a jury view. Yes. Take a load off Fanny. Do. Take the load free. Bum, 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 bum. Take the load off Fanny. Oh, get that leaf blower and snow machine going, yeah. The jury should ask for the I know, the jury should ask for a reenactment. Yes, it's Anthony Bourdain. Franco says, ABC News is a video of the MSP beating a guy from 7 years ago. They wait until he lays down on the ground and start throwing haymakers. Huh. Eric says, fan Drescher. Yes. Robert says, was there a search warrant and search of the house? Nope. Not even after all this information has come out. Nope. Pamela Fanderson. Kyle Rittenfan. Yes, in the Murdaugh case, the court clerk was a big star of the jury view, though. Yeah, and that's the thing. It shouldn't be like that. It should be very subdued and quiet. You shouldn't be messing around. Vincent Fango. Yes. Zero Sum Samus is saying, when I interned at a prosecutor's office, they had a jury view on a murder trial. The most interesting part of the hearing was to discuss the parameters of the view. Trial number 1 had juror experiments. Sometimes that can happen. There's sometimes where, like, the jurors may do experiments, or the jurors may, we might sit, like, they might go out there today, and some juror's going to have what he thinks is important. He's like, I'm going to take a look at that curb, and he's going to sit there and he'll have his notes. Sometimes they get to bring their notes with them, and he'll have his little notepad, and he'll go, yes, quite. And he'll go, and you don't know what the fuck he's writing. Like, sometimes that shit happens. You're like, I've had other, I know other attorneys have been on case with jury views, and the jurors like all inquisitive about something, and the attorney's like, I wish I could tell him he's not even in the right fucking ballpark. He's literally wasting time. So now a lot of times you'll do a jury view at the end or at the very beginning. Because once you've seen it, then you populate it with the story. Or you build the story and then kind of like Legos, you populate them onto the platform.
Court is back in session. You may be seated.
All right, so Mr. Jackson, let's mark for identification the items that you told us about at sidebar.
First in order would be do you want me to describe them for the record, Your Honor?
No,
Uh,
so they're not to be put up on the screen.
These are 4 items. One of them,
So don't describe them. I need to see them. So let's bring them up, mark them for identification, Madam Clerk. Then you'll get them back. But I need these marked for identification, and I need to see them. Thank you. So we'll
Mark them first.
mark them first.
We're gonna mock him at a sidebar. But look how tight that this courtroom is. It's so compact that the prosecutor's office is up at the front of the courtroom and the defense is behind them. I mean, this is a tight courtroom. This is like an old 1800s courtroom that kept on getting remodeled.
All right.
The judge is the most Boston person in the room. A little bit. For now.
Thank you.
The journalist in the back.
Mr. Clerk.
I hope this guy gives you a perspective how small this damn room really is. Because the jury's just sitting right here at the bottom of the screen. This is a small courtroom. It's small. It's small. Look at this. Look at this courtroom, guys.
So we have 4.
It's so whittle. It's so whittle.
Marked 4 pieces of paper marked for identification
It's so whittle. It's so cute.
that appear. You got these off of social media sites, Mr. Jackson?
that's correct.
Okay. When did you get these?
I couldn't tell you the exact date, but we probably have it for between 6 months and a year.
All right. And Commonwealth, you've not seen these before?
No,
It's
Your Honor.
impeachment evidence. You don't get to see them.
So we'll talk about Rule 14 in a little bit, but we'll bring the witness in.
That witness is about to get fucked in the ass with those pictures, Chad. It's impeachment evidence. The state does not get prior notice of impeachment evidence because you don't intend to have to show it. Why is that something there? Because we presume the witnesses are going to tell the truth. And I've had a case where the prosecutor's like, I didn't see this before. I said, Your Honor, it's impeachment. We presume this witness is going to tell the truth. The witness is not now. Now, to be fair, I knew the witness was going to lie, so I prepared the exhibit, and that was what the prosecutor's like, but you knew he was going to lie. I said, and the judge is like, well, no, we presume he tells the truth. He might know your witness is sketchy, but yeah, so I get where this is going right now. The state's going to cry about it.
You can ask her questions, Mr. Jackson, about her vacation that you mentioned, the drinking that you talked about, the relationship with Ms.
Mo
Albert.
Raid, hi, Mo.
I've forgotten the first name already.
Mo and the gang,
and
hello.
Caitlin, and about the house. So you can ask her questions about that. And let's see, you can show her these exhibits or these marked for identification if you need to.
Hi, Mo people.
You may have trouble actually getting those into evidence, but I'm going to let you find
No
out. You can
money,
ask
no
her to identify them,
problems.
how long ago they were, things like that. All right, could we bring in Ms. McLaughlin, please? Yes. And Commonwealth, you just saw these today. I'm sorry, I don't remember if I asked you that.
Yes, and yes.
And you were objecting that, you objected at sidebar that these come in at all?
Correct.
Okay.
Try harder, state.
Oh, here's
Try
the fourth one, I'm
harder.
sorry. Mr. Jackson, here's the last one. right, so Ms. McLaughlin, Mr. Jackson's going to be allowed to ask you questions outside the presence of the jury, and you're still under oath and you have to answer
Oh,
them
we're gonna.
truthfully, okay?
We're doing a voir dire this way. Okay, we're voir direing the exhibits this way. So they're gonna do a dry. The judge is gonna do this outside the jury. She'll make a ruling, and then we'll find out what happens, and then they'll be forced to redo it in front of the jury. Here we go. Yes, the Momo raid. Hello.
Ms. McLaughlin, when, just briefly as a predicate, when you stepped out, I just want to make sure we're very clear. Did you have a conversation with anybody from the Commonwealth between the time you walked out of court and just now?
Just about if I needed a drink of water or to use the restroom.
Okay, but nothing about the substance of your testimony?
No.
Ms. McLaughlin, I asked you before we broke if you
No,
know
this is
Caitlin
on the
Alvarez.
record now. It's
Yes.
being typed
You
up.
said that you went to high school with somebody by that name, correct?
Yes,
You in fact know that person as a friend, correct?
I know her.
She's more than an acquaintance.
I would say she's an acquaintance. She's not a close friend.
She in a group of friends of yours?
We have mutual friends.
How long have you known her?
Let's just leave it.
Probably since high school.
When you say, and I don't want to ask your age, I wouldn't do that. How many years, how long a span of years have you known her?
I've done
Since
that
high
too.
school, so maybe 10.
And you know her family, generally?
I don't.
You don't know anything about her family?
I don't know her family.
Have you ever been to her house?
Not that I recall ever being there.
Not that you recall, or you haven't, so there's two different things.
I don't recall ever being there.
Okay, so you might have been there, you just don't recall.
I don't recall ever being there.
If I were to ask you if you've ever been to her house, yes or no, you cannot answer that because you don't know. You cannot recall, correct?
I would say, I would lean towards no. I have no recollection of ever being at her house.
Are you friends with her on social media?
Yes.
May I approach her on her?
Yes.
I'm
Uh-oh.
just gonna leave all four of these up here. I know what they look like. Can you do me a favor and take a look at the first document? What does that document appear to be?
It says Caitlin's friends.
What does it look like? That's a printout of.
I'm sorry.
What does that look like? It's a printout of. Does that look like it's from Facebook or one of the social media apps?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. Some social media.
Okay. Under Caitlin's friends, do you see your handle, for lack of a better phrase?
I do.
Okay. Is that you?
Yes.
Okay. Can you look at the next photograph? Before we talk about that next photograph, which is, I should go in order for the record, Your Honor. The first one was H. Before we talk about I, which is the next photograph, how long have you been social media friends, quote, friends with Caitlin Albert?
I don't know.
More than 5 years?
Probably.
More than 8 years?
I don't know.
The second photograph, or the second document appears to be a photograph. It's I, is that right?
Yes,
Do you see yourself in that photograph?
I do.
You see Caitlin in that photograph?
I do.
When was that photograph taken?
I have no idea.
Where was that photograph taken?
I don't know.
You have no idea how long ago that was?
I don't.
What was the event that was depicted, or that is depicted in that photograph?
I don't know.
Is that local, or was that on a trip somewhere?
I don't know. Probably local. If it's a beach, I don't remember. I've never been away to a beach on vacation with all of these people, so probably local.
When we say local, let's talk about local. I don't mean, we may have different definitions. Where would that be? What beach? I'm not as familiar with the location.
I'm not sure.
Maybe on the Cape?
Possibly.
Do you recognize some of the other folks in that photograph?
I do.
Matter of fact, there's a lot of people in that photograph, right?
There's a lot of people in it.
Did you take a trip with all those people at some point in the past?
Take a trip.
To the beach?
Did I go to the beach at some point with these people? Yes.
Okay. When did you go to the beach with all those folks?
I don't know. I don't know when this picture is from.
Have you
It
gone?
seems old to me, but
Well, you can see yourself. I mean,
yeah.
What was that? Did you say it seems old to you?
To me.
Okay.
This isn't like a recent to me.
how old do you think that photograph is?
I don't know. It could be around high school. I'm not sure.
And I know Mr. Jackson didn't want to ask you how old you are. When did you get out of high school?
2014. I
Okay.
graduated.
Just a baby.
So could that have been around 2014?
It could be.
So you've known Caitlin for at least that long?
Yeah.
And when I say travel, I mean travel outside of Canton. Gone places with her, correct?
Yes.
You've posed for photographs with her,
Yes.
with other folks.
Yes.
It's like socializing and partying, correct?
Looks like socializing.
Maybe a small vacation.
I've never been on vacation with a big group of people like this.
Well, that doesn't look like what would you call that? That's not like a mini vacation.
A day at the beach?
A day at the beach. Okay, so maybe a day vacation.
Sure.
Let's look at the next photograph. Jay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
I do need to remind myself.
She's getting her
That
good.
photograph looks a little older, correct?
Look at this
They
photograph.
both look old to me. I don't know when they're from.
Does this one make you
I'm gonna ask you the
laugh?
same questions about that. These aren't trick questions. I don't want to waste your time. What's that from?
I don't remember specifically what or where this is.
Do you see yourself in that photograph?
I do.
You see Caitlin in the photograph?
I do.
You're all posing for the camera, correct?
Yes.
What's the location?
I don't know.
No idea.
I don't.
This is yet another socializing event with Caitlin that you can't recall.
I don't know where this is
Is that-
exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your words. Go ahead.
I don't know where this is exactly.
So you've had so many socializing events with Caitlin and other folks that you can't pinpoint this one as opposed to any of the others that you've had.
No, I'm saying I can't. These photos are old. I don't know. I don't remember where these were or the circumstances around them. That's what I'm saying.
You see how you're dressed in that photo?
Yes.
You see you see the other friends that are there with you?
Yeah.
How many people would you estimate are in that photo?
Do you want me to count how many people?
Give me it. I don't have the photo in front of me, so just give me it. Is it more than 5?
12
12 people?
ish.
Do you recognize those dozen people?
I do.
Did you go on a day trip with those dozen people?
Yeah, possibly.
When?
I don't know.
Where?
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't remember.
How many times have you gone on day trips with those dozen people?
I don't know.
How about
Ooh.
turning back to photograph I? How many times have you gone on day trips and socialized with those number of people? So it's like probably double that, 20 or 25 people.
I don't know.
That's a big group of friends of yours that includes Caitlin Albert, right?
A big group of mutual friends.
So it's not just that she's a mutual friend, she's a friend. Is that right?
As I said before, I would consider myself more of an acquaintance. We have mutual friends. I wouldn't consider her a close friend, but yeah, I mean, that would be my answer.
Basically grew up with her, went to high school with her.
I didn't grow up with her. I went to high school with her.
When I say grow up with her, I mean, you grew up in the same town as her, right?
Grew up in the same town.
Went to the same high school as she did,
Yes.
socialized with the same friends as she did,
Yes.
went on day trips with her,
Yes.
and apparently have all the same friend group, right?
I don't know that we have all the same friend group. These are people that we're both friends with.
Wow,
You don't
she
consider
is.
her anything more than just an
Oh my God.
I think I described it to you.
I think she's a
answer to
little
my question is
stupid
you don't
too.
consider her to be anything more than an acquaintance.
I wouldn't consider her to be a close friend.
Now let's take a look at the last photograph.
I think she's trying to protect her ass in the community. Like, I think she thinks her job's at stake.
Describe what's in that photograph.
Look at this photograph.
It's a picture of me. Caitlin is in it, and there's seems to be other people in it as well.
May I approach?
Yes.
Both of you can take it. Sorry, I just want to drop it on you. That's a close-up photograph of who?
Caitlin, and I'm also in it.
And you're doing what in the photograph as it relates to Caitlin?
It seems like I'm kind of kneeling down next to her.
Why are you tricking shots off her tits?
Can I see that for just a minute, please?
That's what the next one's gonna be. Why are you doing body
Usually-
shots off of her? Well, I do that with all kinds of people. That doesn't
So
mean
just
you're
for
my
the
friend.
record, may I approach one more time now?
Yes.
Thank you. Take a look at that one more time.
Yes. Yes. Man, why is there only one cup? Yes, women are born with the minimization gene. Yes. That is
You're
true.
sort of just behind Caitlin in that photograph.
Yes.
Caitlin's the one drinking the beer.
Yes.
You got your right arm around her.
Yes.
Both appear to be wearing swimwear,
Yes.
bathing suits,
Yes. Why are you
Yes.
touching
and
her
you're giving some
areolas
sort of sign
your
with your
tongue?
left hand.
No, I'm not.
Is that somebody else's hand that I saw? Maybe that's Caitlin's.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have the photograph in front of me. I don't have it committed to memory. Looks like that's a photograph that you and Caitlin posed for together, correct?
It seems like it's a close up of a bigger, like a picture. It seems to be zoomed in on a group of people.
Which was posted on social media,
Okay.
is that right?
Are you telling me that?
I'm asking you that. You ever seen that posted on social media?
I don't recall seeing this picture, but if it was on social media, then okay.
How long ago was that picture taken?
I don't know.
Who took the picture?
I don't know.
Where were you when the photograph was taken?
Probably at a beach with, if we're wearing bathing suits.
Probably at a beach or at a beach?
Well, I can't see a beach in the picture. We're in bathing suits. It could be at a beach.
Right. Do you recognize the bathing suit that you're wearing in the photograph?
No.
You literally don't even recognize your own outfit?
No.
So that doesn't help define where you were and when that photograph was taken?
No, sir.
Do any of these photographs
That's not
remind
helping the
you
judge
that you've
believe
been
you're
to
sweetheart.
Caitlin's house at some point in your friendship with her?
No.
Has Caitlin ever been to your house?
Not to my recollection.
That was a
When was the last
long
time you talked to
pause.
Caitlin?
God, that pause had triplets.
I don't remember exactly. It's probably been a few years.
When was the last time you went to an event, socializing event with Caitlin?
Again, I don't remember exactly.
Did you talk to Caitlin at any point at or around, on or around January 29th, 2022?
No.
When was the last time you had talked to Caitlin before January 29th, 2022?
I don't know.
Would it have been a day before, a week before, a month before?
No, I don't talk to her. Like I said, we're not like close friends, so it's like pretty infrequent that we would interact. So I don't know when the last time before that.
What about texting or Snapchatting or communicating in that way?
I don't remember.
Would it have been a week before the 29th?
I don't think so.
You don't think so, or you know so?
I don't think so.
What about after the 29th, after you responded to 34 Fairview? You ever have any communication with her?
Not that I can recall.
So is that something that you think you might remember if you responded to a house of her father, where there's a police officer dead or dying on the yard, on the lawn, 30 feet from the front door? You might have had a conversation with Caitlin?
I've never had a conversation with Caitlin about that call or this case.
Did you ever contact any of your other friends about the fact that you responded to Caitlin's parents' house?
No.
Were you ever asked about this relationship that you had with Caitlin Albert, this friendship that you had with Caitlin Albert at or near the time of the 29th of January?
No.
Did you ever disclose to anybody that you had a relationship with Caitlin Albert at or around the time of this event?
No.
When you went to 34 Fairview, you knew that that was the Albert family home, correct?
No.
When did you learn that it was the Albert? You now know that.
I know that now.
When did you find that out?
I don't know. I don't recall. It was some point after. It was, but I don't know when.
Would it have been the next day?
No.
You and firefighter Flamati and firefighter Nuttall were all discussing this case pretty intently after this event, correct?
No.
It's not that often in the little
Bullshit.
town of Canton that a police officer is found dead or dying on another police officer's lawn. Wouldn't you agree with that?
We responded to a medical call. So the conversation after the fact, was at the hospital debriefing the call, going over what happened, what we use for equipment, what we need, and just like that was the extent of the conversation.
Would you agree that this case, given its notoriety, is discussed at the fire station almost daily?
I don't know when I'm not there, but it does get brought up.
And obviously the fact that the house belongs to, or belonged at the time, to the Albert family is part of that discussion.
I don't know. Like I said, it gets brought up, but I just avoid it. I don't engage in the conversations.
It was certainly enough of
Shit.
a subject matter that you learned, according to you, after the 29th, that house belonged to Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, parents of your friend Caitlin Albert, right?
Well, at that point, it was on the news consistently, so I don't know where that like information was introduced, but
it was pretty early on after the 29th.
I don't recall when it was known that that was the case.
I mean, you didn't learn that that was the Albert family home last week.
No,
You've known it for going on 2.5 years.
I don't know exactly when I learned that that was the house.
I realize you don't know exactly, Ms. McLaughlin. I'm not asking you the day you learned. I'm asking you, you've known this basically through the lifespan of this case.
At some
Just
point
say yes.
after
Just say yes.
I learned it.
Right. I'm just trying to figure out about how long after, a week after.
You're so goddamn
A month
evasive
after.
here, lady.
I'm not sure.
But it was more toward January 29th than it was yesterday, correct?
Correct.
Have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Is it possible to get court ordered that my face may be the seat cushion for this witness? Strictly hypothetical. Yes. Yana? Yes, I wish to make myself available for court services.
Just a couple of brief questions. Do you know any of Caitlin's siblings?
No,
You don't know Brian Albert Jr.?
no.
You know of any of her extended family that might be a little closer in age to you, like
It's like,
Colin
bitch,
Albert?
I know y'all.
No,
You ever met any of them?
not that I recall.
Not that you recall, or no?
I don't remember meeting any of them.
Your Honor, that's all I have right now.
All right, Mr. Lally, any questions?
No.
Just a few, Your Honor.
Oh. Really? You want to ask her questions, man? She's not going to help.
So, Ms. McLaughlin, you're not friends with Caitlin Albert, correct?
I'm sorry.
You're not friends with Caitlin Albert, is that correct?
I would say she's an acquaintance, not a close friend.
You were shown some photographs of you in a fairly large group with Caitlin Albert, correct?
Yes,
You don't know when those were, correct? You
I don't know exactly.
don't know where you were when those were taken, correct?
No, not exactly. They seem old.
And just to back up, you knew her in high school, but you weren't friends in high school, right?
I would categorize our relationship as always being just acquaintances. I knew her. We had some mutual friends, but we were never close friends. We don't have a one-on-one relationship.
And as far as high school versus post-high school, would you see her more so during high school, the high school years, or after you graduated?
Well, probably more in high school just because you're there every day. But then afterwards, yeah, only here and there. Like I said, like mutual friends. So maybe events for mutual friends, I might run into her.
And to be clear, and I think you made reference to it, but that last photograph that's marked as K, that seems to be a cropped or
My nose is
sort of
like
zoomed in of
echolocating
a
the
larger photo,
microphone.
is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, as far as each of those
Bullshit.
photos you were shown, you're
Bullshit.
present in a photo with Caitlin Albert in a much larger group, correct?
Bullshit.
Yes.
Have you ever hung out or socialized with Caitlin Albert outside of the setting of a large group?
No.
You've never been to her house before that date of January 29th that you know of, correct?
Correct.
She's never been to your house that you know of, correct?
Correct.
Now, as far as that first one, that's as far as social media is concerned, as far as a friends list, and without sort of doing it, I'm sort of putting that in air quotes. How many friends would you say you have on social media in total?
I don't know. Maybe over 500. I don't know.
And of those 500 people, how many of those 500 people would you consider actual friends?
Much less than that. Less than 10.
All right, why don't we wrap this up, Mr. Lally?
Sure. Just when it comes to that day that you responded, you're working with the fire department, you responded to a call on January 29th to a home, or as you say, to somewhere on the side of the road. Did you have any idea whose house that was adjacent to where the treatment was concerned with regard to your patient?
No.
I know.
Okay. All right. So there was an objection that this was in violation of Rule 14 to admit these exhibits, Mr. Lally. That's what you said, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I agree. So the exhibits don't come in, but based on this voir dire and the answers, I'm going to give you some leeway on exactly what you did. Okay. The relationship, the socialization and the extent of it, friends on social media, those areas. You didn't quite get everything that you mentioned at sidebar you thought you'd get. So that's not coming in.
So
Ma'am, are you familiar with the term sneaky?
If you
stay within the parameters.
So why don't you come over here then, just because?
Yes. Uh-oh. Karen's like, you bitch. Yes. Ma'am, are you familiar with sneaking? Are you familiar with how can they not use the pics? I don't know. I'm not sure what evidentiary ruling she's basing this on. Pine Rider says, how many cases the judge had overturned? Probably not many. You may not like her, but I doubt she is. I doubt she's not bad. I'm assuming this is Karen's family sits her over on the other side. So here we go. And guys, I apologize. I have to work on a bond motion for a guy, so I might be a little kind of like not paying attention as much for a minute or two here. What state is this in? The state of Massachusetts. This is in suburban Boston. This is like 20 minutes from downtown. Dropbox in it? No was. Should have green. The green is the Fallsham. Do your job, Sean. Your mom's not here, so I'm bored. Thanks for streaming the trial. You're welcome. Massachusetts Rule 14 is pretrial discovery. Sure, but the idea that you would have to pretrial discovery impeachment evidence, well, how do you know it's there? Sheree says they don't have to if they're for impeaching her testimony. Well, we have some questions we have to answer here real quick. Okay, so we also have True Crime 6540. Thank you for joining us as a member. I appreciate the support. Kevin says for $5, my God, I just switched to Emily Baker to get a different view. She's very biased towards prosecutors. Once a hammer, always a hammer. Well, hey, that's part of Emily's career trajectory, but also mine. I'm heavily biased towards defense attorneys. You know, we are what we are. We are what we are. And I've said this before. I am very, Emily typically has very, very, very good takes. I appreciate her experience as being a prosecutor for like 15 years. Like, she spent most of her career as a prosecutor. I think pretty much all of it. So no, I think she's every once in a while we may disagree on like a little thing, but I've never found anything where she said is completely wrong. So I understand you guys may not like her, but I think overall she's, you know, there's you can be more pro state. That doesn't make you wrong. I understand, like I think everybody should be pro defendant and seriously skeptical of the state, but I also understand from her side of it. You know, we are who we are, and our views are based off what we're there. So, James, you're saying, was that off the record the first time? No, that was all on the record. So, like a transcript of this hearing today, we'll have this done outside the presence of the jury, but it'll be denoted jury not present. And then basically, we're going to show you a rerun of this. And Eric says, was he found face down or face up? I don't know. That's going to be the women who testify about that. Yes, that look at his photograph, Beam. Is as old as she is almost. I mean, that came out like 2006 or so, I think. But guys, she's being very hostile as a witness because if she's too cooperative, I bet she thinks her job's in the line, and it's $100,000 a year job. She doesn't want to give it up.
If you all think they're right outside the door, you're mistaken.
Please be seated.
So, Nick's nice against winning. Yes.
Jimmy, do you have any envelopes over there?
I do. Any more? Do you need any more? I'll work on it.
That song came out in 2005. Damn. Yes, she lives. This is Massachusetts, man. All public service people make good money, but it's also the Boston area. The standard of living there is very, 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 very high. It's a very expensive area to live.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh, Saya is saying, thank you for streaming. Can't watch Turtle Boy. He's so obnoxious. Is he watching this? Yeah. 100K is nothing. Boss Man makes 30K in minutes and then loses it in seconds. I saw that clip, Parallax. That is amazing. Just burning through it. Is that Ron Perlman on the left of the council table?
Ms. McLaughlin, did you say you had water?
No.
Is there water
Also, real quick, guys.
that you need, or-
I'm okay.
Oh, hold on here.
Yeah.
Are we saying that's Vosh? Are we saying this is Vosh right here? Maybe his cousin. So we're all caught up, chat. We're waiting for the jury to come in. Come on, what are we doing here? Let's go, guys. Sean, did you see Ferrari's new car they unveiled today? No, I did not. I see Prigozhin. Yes, they are full-time city union firefighters. They're making a lot with a nice pension. Yep. Yes, the BSI gain if it needs more horse come in it for it to be a Vosh thing. Oh my God, where's the jury? Tell them to pinch it off. We got a trial. Tell them shake it out. Let's go. Paramedics like $50 an hour? Hell yeah. She's asking the jury, she's asking the bailiff, why are they still pooping?
Please rise to the jury.
So here we go.
This court is in session. Please be seated.
So jurors, from time to time, there are things that I need to discuss with the lawyers, as you saw. We try and do it as quickly as we can. It's in an effort to make sure that what you see and hear in this case is appropriate for you to see and hear. So sometimes we spend a little time now that will save us a lot of time later. So we do appreciate your patience.
Mayor, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, thank you for your patience. When we last left off, I was asking you about your relationship with Caitlin Albert. You recall that?
Yes.
I want to ask you a few more questions about that. You and Caitlin Albert have known each other for how long?
Since high school.
Which is, give me a span of time.
So probably about 10 years.
You have traveled with Caitlin Albert and friends. When I say traveled, I don't mean to exotic locations. I mean day trips, etc.
Yes.
You have a group of mutual friends together, correct?
We have mutual friends. Correct.
Those mutual friends have gone on day trips with you and Caitlin Albert involved?
Correct.
On more than one occasion, as a matter of fact?
Correct.
On many occasions, matter of fact?
I don't know.
More than 5?
I don't know.
More than 10?
I don't know.
You've seen photographs of you with Caitlin Albert on some of these day trips, correct?
Yes.
You've seen at least 3 of those photographs.
Yes.
You're friends with Caitlin Albert on social media?
Yes.
Other than the 3 photographs that you've seen, we just talked about, there have been other events that you've been at with Caitlin Albert that weren't necessarily photographed, or we don't have those photographs, correct?
Probably.
You know that Caitlin Albert is the same Caitlin Albert that's the daughter of Brian and Nicole Albert, as you sit here.
Yes. As I sit here today, yes.
And you know that Caitlin Albert also has siblings, Brian Albert Jr., correct?
As I sit here today, yes, I know that.
And you also know, as you sit here today, that 34 Fairview was, at the time of January 29th, 2022, the Albert home, correct?
I know that as of today.
You indicated, let me rephrase that. When you showed up at 34 Fairview that morning, did you recognize that address or recognize the home as being that of Caitlin Albert's?
No.
You have since learned that that was Caitlin Albert's home.
As I know that now.
And you gave your original statement to Trooper Proctor the next day.
Yes.
And from that day to this day, or let's take yesterday, from that day to yesterday, you learned that 34 Fairview was the Canton Albert family home, correct?
You're asking if I know from,
Between those 2 days,
yes,
between the time you spoke with Trooper
Yes.
Proctor in this report till yesterday when you testified, you now know that that's the Albert home.
yes.
And you also indicated that between that report that you gave to Trooper Proctor, that statement that you gave to Trooper Proctor, and yesterday's testimony, your statement has evolved. You've already admitted that, correct?
I don't think I agreed with you on that.
It's changed. It's different.
I've always testified to I feel as though my testimony has been consistent.
I appreciate how you might feel. I'm just interested in the actual facts. You didn't tell Trooper Proctor anything about this officer questioning my client. correct?
Objection.
So I'm going to see counsel at sidebar because I think this morphed into a different.
You agree, Mr. McLaughlin, that the statement that you gave to Trooper Proctor is not the same as the statement that you gave to these jurors yesterday? Correct?
Yes.
That just told me that.
Yes.
A couple of other questions. When you did make this statement to Trooper Proctor, your visit to Canton PD was coordinated by another officer to put you and Trooper Proctor together for the interview, correct?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall being contacted by a completely different officer to say, hey, Trooper Proctor wants to talk to you, come on into Canton PD, let's have an interview?
I don't remember exactly how the interview was set up.
So that was my next question. You may have just told me this. Do you have any recollection who set that interview up?
I don't.
His name Kevin Albert sound familiar?
No,
You know Kevin Albert?
no,
You know him to be a police officer at Canton PD?
no,
You know him to be the brother of Brian Albert?
Objection.
no.
The objection sustained.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Lally, any redirect?
Yes.
So firefighter McLaughlin, you went to high school with Caitlin Allen, correct?
Yes.
And could you describe the nature of your relationship, if any, with Caitlin?
I would describe it as we're not close friends. I would say we're more acquaintances. We have mutual friends. I don't have a one-on-one relationship with her.
And you were asked some questions about social media, correct?
Yes.
And if you could, or if you could guesstimate about how many friends, and I'm sort of throwing air quotes in there, how many friends on social media would you have?
I don't know, probably 500.
And of those probably 500 friends on social media, how many of those are actual friends that you talk to, interact with beyond social media?
Much less than that.
Now, prior to, well, let me ask you this. As far as, would you say that you saw Caitlin Albert more so when you were in high school or more so since you have graduated from high school?
I would say probably more in high school because we were there every day. So
And about what year or so was it that you graduated?
2014.
And as far as any sort of photographs that were referenced to you, have you seen those photographs?
Here
Yes.
today, I saw them.
Do you have any idea where or when those photographs were taken?
I don't remember.
And of those photographs, it's not just you and Caitlin Albert in a photograph. Is that correct?
Correct.
So a larger group of people, is that correct?
Correct.
When you were asked about sort of these day trips, they were sort of trips specifically on a day to a beach, it looks like, correct?
Correct.
And to a beach with a larger group of people, is that correct?
Correct.
And with reference to Caitlin Albert specifically, have you ever socialized with her in any setting beyond a setting that contained a large group of people?
No.
Now, with respect to, you went to, you say high school, you graduated from Canton High School, correct?
Correct.
And you grew up in Canton, is that correct?
Yes.
And did you know Caitlin Albert before you attended Canton High School?
No, that's probably when we first really interacted was high school.
And essentially, you live within the town I'm sorry, you work within the town that you grew up, correct?
Correct.
And is that abnormal from a civil service perspective?
No, from a civil service perspective, you're given more points for residency. So it's actually, I would say, preferred, or you're placed higher on the list if you have residency in
You
that
want to
town.
be a homer.
It's actually preferred and more common than uncommon as far as growing up in the town and then working in that same town in a civil service position like a firefighter.
Yes.
Now, during the course of the time that you've been on the Canton Fire Department, have you received calls to residencies or other places or even patients that you either knew or were familiar with?
Yes.
Would that be a reason for you to not go on a call?
No.
And you have an obligation, wouldn't you say, to respond to a call when a call is made and you're on duty in that station house, correct?
Yes.
The objection sustained. Ask the question differently.
As far as when you're on duty as a firefighter at a particular station house, you get a call, what, if any, choice do you have to respond to any particular call?
I don't have a choice. I just have to respond to the call.
And then prior to that date of January 29th, had you ever been over through socialization or otherwise Caitlin Albert's house?
Not that I ever remember.
Had she ever been over your house?
No.
And again, had you ever socialized with her outside of a large group of people?
No.
When you responded on that morning, just after 6 a.m., the house of 34 Fairview Road, did you know who lived there?
No.
During the time since January 29th of 2022, have you ever spoken to Caitlin Albert about what happened that morning in front of 34 Fairview Road?
No.
Now, you were asked some questions on cross-examination about knowing sort of Caitlin Albert's parents' names or siblings' names or things of that, correct?
Right.
And prior to January 29th, you didn't know any of those names, is that correct?
No.
You learned of them subsequently, is that correct?
Yes.
May we approach just briefly?
Okay.
Now, it's interesting, guys, how she's able to handle it now. Now she's got answers. Now she's got all kinds of answers for everything. I don't know what the ISP stuff was. That was Chrome bogging down really, really hard. I'm sorry about that. It was really weird. Yeah, shut up about the civil service. Call them government mooches. Yeah, but in Massachusetts, you get a city job or a county job or a state job. You eating good. He's still on this limited redirect. Well, remember they had to take a big break to do the they had to do a proffer with that witness beforehand. So it's almost as she has two faces. Yeah. Yeah, she's like, when the mean defenseman asked me questions, oh no, I don't remember. I clean only. W. McMaster says, good, nice to see you here. I've seen you around before, so hello. This guy's like Binger if he could somehow be an even bigger cuck. Well, trust me, as we've learned over the past couple of months, you could be a very big cuck. How many Instagram followers? How many OnlyFans followers? No. Oh. Yeah, so she's got that wasp stare. Yep. There's someone worse than Binger. Yeah. Well, this guy's just not. I don't think he's malicious, Binger. He just is a bigger tool than Binger. Matt says, I would like to see Ricada, and this witness make out, but the witness is not a man. How's that going to work? Could they even try to kiss, or would they just give up and poke their noses at each other? Yes, that'd be like little people, like Rock'em Sock'em robots. They can't hit each other. Luke says, just woke up. Did I miss anything? Not really, except it all came out that she knows, the paramedic knows somebody. Caitlin Albert.
So, Ms. McLaughlin, you learned of those other people's names within the Albert family subsequent to your response to this call on January 29th. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you learn of those through sort of various news or media reports in relation to this case, not something that you had any conversations with anybody about, correct?
Correct.
I have nothing further.
All right.
Your Honor, if I may, I have
Okay. Okay.
You indicated, Ms. McLaughlin, Mr. Lally just asked you about these 500 friends on social media. A couple of quick questions about that. Of those 500 friends on social media, how many of those have you taken day trips with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you gone to the beach with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you posed for photographs with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you posed for photographs in swimwear with?
I don't know.
How many of those have you been photographed with your arm around while that other friend is drinking a beer?
Sustained. Sustained.
Ms. McLaughlin, all of those things that I just mentioned, you have done with this Caitlin Albert.
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right, Firefighter McLaughlin, you are all set. All right, jurors, we are getting ready to go for our view. So we're about to visit a place which you'll be hearing about some more. You've heard about, you've seen photographs of. And in court terminology, we call this view. The purpose of the view is to help you better to understand the evidence, which you'll hear during the trial, and to help you appreciate the location and its surroundings. The view that you will take is a part of this case. The observations that you make while on the view may be used and considered in your deliberations in reaching a verdict. The place that we're going to go, you've seen photos of, you've heard it, it's 34 Fairview Road. The lawyers and I will accompany you on the bus. The attorneys may point out to you the arrangement of the scene and items that they want you to pay special note of, but otherwise they cannot discuss anything in this case in regard to this case, and they can't talk to you. All right, they'll be able to do an opening here, and they'll be able to point these things out. While you're on the view, it's very important that you can't take notes, and you certainly can't use your phones and take photographs. All right, it's really just for you to see. You cannot conduct any independent investigation while we're there or at any time during the trial, as you've been told. You're not to return to the scene or ask anyone else to do it for you until the case is over. So this is your opportunity to take a look when we go. What you are to do on the view may be best summarized in two very familiar words, which is stop and look. Okay. Your responsibility is to see the place, to observe it carefully, and to remember what you see. So during your trip to and from the place that we're going to view, you're not to discuss this case or anything about it among yourselves or with anyone, and you are not to permit anyone to talk with you about the case. You'll be under the supervision of our great court officers at all times, and you'll remain together until you return to court unless the court officers direct you otherwise. And just so that you know, because some of this came up during our jury selection process, spectators, if there are any, and all members of the press have been ordered to stay 100 yards away from you. All right, so you can go and you can look and take your time looking without worrying about any interference from anyone. All right, so with that, Mr. Clerk, could you swear in, please, the court
The
officer?
court officers, raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear you will take this jury upon the premises in question and there suffer them to view the same and any property, place, or thing bearing upon the issues on the
Yes,
trial,
suffer
as
them.
they shall seem necessary?
Suffer,
That you not
Jerry,
permit the parties to enter in a
suffer.
debate in front of the jury or a person to speak to them unless it be Adam Lally for the Commonwealth and Alan Jackson for the defendant. They to point out such places or things as they deem expedient for the determination of the issue, and that you will keep the jury together until they shall return into court, except the court shall otherwise order, so help you God. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Lally, do you want to do a short view opening?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So ladies and gentlemen, as her owner just described, we're about to go to a place. When we arrive there, and at any point in time when we're there, this is not a point where we can have any sort of conversation or back and forth. So all I'm going to be asking you to do is just take note of certain locations and certain items as you see them. And again, as with anything in this case, this is as you find them, as you observe them, okay? So first I'm going to ask you to sort of, when we arrive in a general area, as far as taking note of sort of street names when you're coming into and when you're exiting from this particular area. When we arrive at a specific location, I'm going to ask you to take note of certain things about the roadway. Okay, certainly any abutments to the roadway, any residences that you observe, the distances between the roadway, and any landmarks or any items that you observe on that property, specifically a driveway, specifically a front door, any other sort of items of interest within the front lawn area of that. I'm also going to ask you to take note of the roadway itself, and sort of the width of that roadway, whether or not you find any sort of lanes separating within that roadway, and then the individual width of some of those lanes as well.
This is
Lastly,
trippy.
there is also going to be a vehicle there as well. And I'm going to ask you to take note of certain things with respect to that vehicle, okay? With respect to the size of the vehicle, with respect to the height of the vehicle, with
They're
respect to
staging a
anything
car?
that you observe specifically from the front,
Wow,
side, the
that's
back,
not a
all of
normal
the
way of
exterior
doing
that
it.
vehicle, and then
My
also some
experience.
of the interior of that vehicle. And specifically, I'm going to ask you to take note of sort of the center console in the front driver's compartment of that vehicle. and anything that you observe in that location as well. And that is all I'm asking you to do on this case, and I thank you again for your time and attention.
All right, Mr. Jackson?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's the first time we've been able to speak to you directly, so I want to take the opportunity to introduce myself and thank you for your service and thank you for your time and commitment to this. I'm going to echo a lot of what Mr. Lally just said. There's nothing magical about this other than it gives you perspective. It's an opportunity to introduce you in three-dimensional form to stuff that you've been seeing in two-dimensional form. Photographs, some of the testimony, diagrams that you might see.
So I'm sorry, we're really pointed on what you can say.
What we're going to ask you to do is take special note of the relationships of physical items out at the scene. Much as Mr. Lally just indicated, there are going to be physical things out at the scene. You've heard about a flagpole, a fire hydrant, a house. We're going to ask you to take special note of where those are in relation to other things physically at the scene. That will hopefully, with the court's instruction, give you some assistance in putting together the testimony that you think is relevant, and the documents that you think are relevant. Again, to echo what Mr. Lally said, we're going to ask you to look at the roadway, the vehicle, the house, the physical items at the home, and the relationship between and among all of those things to each other. Hopefully, that will give you a very good understanding of what we're dealing with, especially with the exhibits. Thank you.
All right, so folks, we'll be all set. We'll see you at the
Okay.
bus in a little bit.
We gotta. So
You are muted.
you are muted. I'll show
Goodbye.
you muted. You don't tell me. You son of a bitch.
Quiet, please.
All right, so I don't think they're coming back today, chat. That's it for us. So what do we know now? So they're going on the jury view. They're going on a bear hunt. Now, it appears typically you don't have a jury view this in depth where we're going to park a car. But I think for both sides, and I get the feeling they both have agreed to this. And if they both have agreed to this, that changes a lot of what can happen. I've dealt with some judges where they're like, nope, it's a very strict thing. We do this and that's it. This judge seems to be allowing them to. Oh, no, hold on here. They're going back on the record.
Make your record.
Maybe it would be better if I did it over here. I wanted to interpose an objection to.
So I think it would be better if you did it over here.
It's illegal. It's just illegal.
I don't know what you're doing. Come over here and tell me what you're going to do, and then
Sure.
I'll be back and do it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll hang tight for a second with that. So this one, apparently, I get the feeling both sides, and listen to the prosecutor and Jackson. They both want you to take, like, they both have an issue here.
May I get that?
Yes.
Okay. As it relates to the 4 exhibits that the court deemed were not admissible because of a violation of Rule 14, I wanted to elaborate just very briefly.
Just go ahead.
Our objection. We believe that under Rule 14, we were not obligated to have to present these exhibits to the Commonwealth in discovery. Rule 14 does not require such disclosure when the exhibits are used for impeachment only, and that's exactly what those 4 exhibits were going to be used for, and what we intended to use them for. Had this witness said, I know Caitlin Albert, we've been friends for 10 years, we went to high school together, we've been on day trips together, we've been to the beach together, and we've socialized together. I wouldn't have to show any photographs, but that's not what she said. What she said was, I went to high school with a person named Caitlin Albert, which is a bastardization of the truth. That's not the truth. And those 4 photographs
I like
are what got
bastardization.
her in the voir dire process, what got her to admit that she in fact does know Caitlin Albert, and those are on a very, very different level than she first suggested. As the SJC is explained in the case of Commonwealth versus Aguiar, Aguiar, at 400 Mass 508, pin site at 513. It's a 1987 case that says the following, and then I'll finish my record. Quote, a defendant has a constitutional right to bring to a jury's attention any circumstance which may materially affect the testimony of an adverse witness, which might lead the jury to find that the witness is under an influence to prevaricate. It matters not that the evidence would reveal an otherwise inadmissible fact, such as the witness's commission of a crime. A judge may not restrict cross-examination of a material witness by foreclosing inquiry into a subject that could show bias or prejudice on the part of the witness, end quote. That's exactly what we believe we were entitled to do with Katie McCaughan as a witness for the Commonwealth. She has bias, or at least the jurors can consider a bias. She has prejudice, the jurors could consider a prejudice because of a pre-existing relationship with Caitlin Albert, about which she was not truthful. So I wanted to make that record and ask the court to reconsider whether or not those 4 exhibits could be introduced. I don't need to make any big deal about it. I don't want to call her back to the stand, but I think the jurors, now having had the description of those photographs, should be able to see them in evidence. And I would
Okay.
submit.
All right, so that request is denied. The record's clear. So Ms. Reed is not going on this view. She just needs to make sure she's back here by the time we return. So Mr. Yannetti, you're nodding.
Yes,
You will contact her and make sure
understood.
she's back here.
Understood. All rise for the court, please.
Oh, we're gonna have chat. We got more jury tonight. Yay! All right. Well, guys, we're gonna talk through this. Hang tight. We're gonna get. I just want to make sure we're done. It looks like we're gonna take a long lunch break, so I'm not gonna hang around for that because I'm a big guy. I'm gonna enjoy my lunch. Okay. So here we go. We're going to go back through all of this. The issue with the jury view, both sides, when you think about it, want this jury view. They think the evidence is going to help them. And these are the good cases where, Yannetti and Jackson look at all this evidence and they're like, fuck, we got this in the bag. All this evidence is going to help us. And Lally's looking at it like all this evidence is going to help me. So at this jury view, they've reached an agreement. They're putting a car. They're going to put a car in the proper
Hey there,
spot,
Karen Reed,
location.
trial watchers. You know what a lot of the trials we cover.
Yeah, we're done, Jesse Weber. Sorry there, brother. I'm not listening to you. This is me time. So they're going to put it there. They're going to say, take note of the lanes in the road. Take note of the width of the road. Take note of the relationship to things. There's normally not a lot of talking. You say, ladies and gentlemen, take note of. We'd say we get there. We could say, take note of the flagpole, the fire hydrant, and this is the house that you saw on video. And they might also be allowed to say, typically, we came when you're looking, ladies and gentlemen. The dash cams are looking this direction, and then they would say, please roam about the scene. But that's very interesting. They're going to have a car. They're going to have a little bit of it staged. But they both think that's going to help them, and they've agreed to it. So this judge, because there's some judges where they're like, no. A lot of judges are like, no, we're not fucking with it. If they've agreed to it, that's why this judge is probably allowing it. You guys have made an agreement. This is what you want. Cool. Also, real quick, because I know Casey and NorCal said it. My kid's saying going on a bear hunt. Can't go around it. Can't go over it. Gotta go through it. So that's what's going to happen there. We are, Brimstone is saying, so the defense is wanting to blame this Caitlin Albert girl. No. Caitlin Albert is one of the women there with Karen Reed in the snow. Caitlin Albert, I think, is one of the ones who was at the party, knows what was going on, and is kind of adds into the sussiness of everything. I mean, the ultimate theory for Karen Reed's team is people in the house killed John O'Keefe, not Karen. And there's just more and more layers of stuff that's not adding up. God, everybody's leaving now. Don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. Franco says Sean isn't the best one covering this. The only one covering it's just the best. Thank you. Yes. And Ali Sales is right there with me. Yeah. Sutton, he's like, will you make this jury suffer? Yes, Jay, you must suffer. 10K view says it's Massachusetts. They will suffer. Ghostry says 100-yard lens would not stop if they did that, that would be held in contempt. That is not going to go over well. James PFP says the Commonwealth does not equal the Crown. That's correct. The Commonwealth is a name. Some states are described as the Commonwealth. Like Massachusetts is a Commonwealth. Kentucky is a Commonwealth. Georgia's a Commonwealth. And that's just how the state is named. It's not a yeah, there's Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and what's the other one here? Kentucky, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania. I don't remember. Don't remember. But then you also have a place like Rhode Island. Rhode Island is the state of Rhode Island. That, like, for Rhode Island's technical term for its official name for the longest time, up until a couple of years ago, was the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. Pretty funny. Oh, Virginia is a Commonwealth. Okay, there we go. Sorry. My bad, chat. Thank you. I feel like an idiot for not knowing that. So, Lil Pill, thank you for being here. I like seeing the new names. Saying, I know I'm like 20 minutes behind, but as a bikini wearer in beach going country, I have owned a lot of pairs. You show a pic of me in a pair, and I can give you a minimum 1 to 2 year time frame. Yeah, I know of a person. Like, I don't know. It's like bullshit. You don't. Usually, if they've wanted the actual murder vehicle, they'd be in a kill room. Well, not in a kill room, but they'd bring it in like a Sally Port or a control garage. Sometimes, and I've seen cases where like a vehicle is part of the situation. The vehicle gets drug in on a trailer. The vehicle is trailered into a parking lot, and the jury comes walking out in the back parking lot behind the courthouse, and you take a look at it. Ooh. Because in that case, the car was destroyed in an accident as part of a vehicular manslaughter case. And yeah. Kansaki saying, so the objection off the record, huh? No, but I think the judge, it's still on the record. Sidebars, a lot of those sidebars are still on the record. I think she just wants to know what the hell they're doing before they do it. And that's not normally an issue. And what was the point of that objection? So they wanted to introduce all those pictures. The state screamed and cried saying, well, that's not proper discovery disclosure. Well, for a proper discovery disclosure, it's impeachment evidence, so you're not entitled to it. They are just that what they did there was a proffer. That's protecting the record. God forbid Karen Reed is convicted. They can appeal this decision as part of her case in chief when she files an appeal. That the judge made a big evidentiary problem. Well, so that's why they're doing that. The content lasagna, or once again, the content lasagna. It's still hard to tell. So would you rather encounter a man or a bear in the woods? Well, it depends. Like, are you going on a bear hunt like at the gay 90s? Going on a bear hunt? Or in that case, it'd be like, I'm going on a bear hunt. It's so weird. It's so funny and weird. I'd probably rather encounter a bear. Franco saying, not sure if the defense is going to pursue it, but the Albert's son, Colin, all of a sudden, Boston be like, Colin was photographed busted up knuckles. Ooh. I don't check chat live. No, because I was in between screens. Yes, every virgin just self-doxed. As a Southern Virginian, I be defended, I do declare. There's no difference between a state and a commonwealth. The distinction in the name alone. Yes. 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 And that's true. It doesn't change anything. It's just their name. So it's also all that changes is the titling of the case. So we talked about New York. Right now, it's the people of the state of New York versus Donald John Trump. In Ohio, it would be the state of Ohio versus Karen Reed. In Massachusetts, right now, it's the Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus Karen Reed. So that's all it changes there. Well, Pill proved that with picks. Jeez. James says pretty much means the Commonwealth has a connection to common law. Yeah, well, there's that, but there's also the Commonwealth. You're part of like the Commonwealth of the British Crown. It's all kind of, yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Suffer Fuentes. Suffer. Well, he's back, so we're all suffering. Nico says, Sean, you are the bear. Vodka says, is it a bear or a gay bear? I know. Important questions. You wouldn't be in between screens if you had a second monitor. Well, yeah, I know, but I was on the farms for a second. Sean, what movies are those on the wall behind me again? Okay. Walls. Oh, so you know they're Fromes, though. Is it raining? Damn, it's raining. Suffer. So my lawn. I gotta sprinkle some weed killer out there, and it's gotta be wet. So it's like, suffer lawn. All right. Hunt for Red October. Right here. Then this one, Heat. Heat. Red October. Heat. Virginia, for example, just codified the common law, which Alaska still has. Ohio, by comparison, when it led VA's clutches, it used VA's common law for several years until the Ohio Revised Code was born. Yes, but we still have common law. Like the law is still the same types of issues. We're still common law based as well. We have statutory law, but Ohio has a rich heritage of common law, as do pretty much all states except for Louisiana, which use the civil system. The VA Commonwealth is the first Commonwealth in this country. Do we need to crowdfund another monitor? No, I just need to do it. Anyway, guys, we are going to come back at some point, it sounds like, and continue the trial. I thought we were doing a half day today, but we're going to come back in a bit. No, I don't have two monitors. I have one that's like 40 inches. Well, I'm using a 40-inch TV. Actually, 42-inch TV as a monitor. Yes, Sean has a lawn. The doc's profile is growing. Luke says there was a cop out there that Sean's ignoring, by the way. What do you, cop? What? Or a cop out? What? Or there was a cop out there or a cop out there. I don't know. Yeah, I thinking it couldn't remember Heat. Think it was Goodfellas. Goodfellas is a good one, too. Laughing at you using a Boken as a pointer. Well, Jim says good monitors like $100. I know they are, but I generally can manage it all on one screen. Yes, Alec Baldwin shot the cook in that movie who knew it would become a common thing with him. Yes. Remember, as Sean Connery said, remember, Ryan, some things around here don't react too well to bullets. Nico says, I have three 28-inch 4K monitors. Those are small. It's like looking through a postage stamp. Along with the weed problem, no less, I know. Minnesota was very close to the French, but they are common law. Ooh, I did not know that. Yes, we need to take the cop to Denny's. 28 inches of postage stamp? Yeah, man, that's super small. 49-inch curved monitor for the win. That would be fun. Although, I have a 55-inch TV. That's in the bedroom. I think that'd be fun to hang up in here. Weed is now being legitimate, so Sean, don't spray the lawn. Well, I can't. All I get to do now is like bring the deer come by and eat the clover, which that would be hilarious. I can, in the food plot, that is my front yard is basically a food plot right now. I could whack. Be a fun fucking way to kill some deer. That'd be some great footage. I could stream that on here. Clover lawns are based. Yeah, but I don't like it. Deer crap everywhere. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The anti-clover lawn is a psyop. No, it looks beautiful. And I don't know what happened this year. It's like the explosion of it. So, oh well. Zaven says, I missed the stream today. Any good stuff happened? No, they're going out for the jury view. They're going to probably take a lunch break. And then we'll be back. And I don't know what time they're coming back. Let me see here. What does Long Cuck say they're coming back? Get a Mexican? No, I take care of my own lawn. I don't need their help. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. What time are they saying Karen Reed's coming back? I think we'll take a break shortly here. I don't know how long they're going to be. I mean, it's not far away. It's not far away. But I'm going to take a break. I'm going to eat some lunch real quick and we'll come back. I will I'll probably start this up as they're going to get a lunch break in there too. You want the Massachusetts court opinion on the buffer zone? We could take a look at that. But we're probably going to take a short break here. I'm going to eat some lunch and then we'll come back and we can cover that if they're not ready in time. Did you finish writing your motion? No, not yet. I need to take care of that. So, guys, we are all caught up. I think if you guys have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So what I think I'm going to do. Oh, it sounds far. The state police are shutting down 128 southbound. Oh, you must live out there on a wall. From Dedham, or is that Dedham or Dedham? Dedham to Westwood for the jury to go visit the crime scene in Canton. I hope 2.0 gives you a lunchtime hummer as she should. Well, it's going to be hard because she's in Boston right now. No, got it from Twitter. Okay. Don't forget the victory secret segment. What? I'm confused. Dedham. Oh, Dedham. Okay. Jim, if there's jury doxing, somebody's going to get held in contempt. So, Chorgon Scormhammer. Open up one of those Daybell portals. All right, guys. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start up a new stream. We'll do like Karen Reed Part 2, and I'll redirect you guys over to that. and we'll start up. I'll keep track when I see them coming back. We'll probably get a couple minute warning. I don't know if on Twitter they've mentioned when it's. Do you guys see on Twitter yet where they say they're coming back? Because that's, the people there would have the best idea. For part duh. And I'm not going to schedule it for any other time here, and we'll we'll just say right now 12:30, because remember they're on Eastern time, so we'll say 12:30 for now. And that's set up. All right, and then how do I switch this? Oh. Oh, I did want to say thank you to everybody. I finally got 1 million views on my content, which is kind of neat. Big milestone. I'm actually, that's a neat one I finally achieved. Where YouTube's like, hey, this has happened, that's happened. 1 million views. Pretty cool. Little by little, chat, we're slowly taking over. Little by little. Alrighty. Customization. And we do the redirect. The redirection. Save. Let's see here. Are you guys seeing in a while? Remember there's a Hunley panel today too. Yeah, but I don't know if Erica, I don't think Eric sent me an invite. So let me see. Fire up Twitter, because Twitter was not working earlier for me. It was fighting me. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm going to have to restart because this is all getting ridiculous. It's a 10-minute trip per Google Maps. Okay. So, yeah, we'll set this for 12:30 now. Yes, now we need 1 million subs. Yes. How many civilians show up at the house? A lot. A lot. See, I don't see any time where they say they're coming back. So, yeah, I will see you guys all for the new stream. Thank you for being here. If you guys are new, by the way, my name is Sean, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm a defense attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Obviously, focused on criminal stuff. Yeah, and the Karen Reed trial is one of them. It's going to be interesting. We also do weekly shows. Do a show every Thursday night at 9:30. So obviously, you just missed it, but it's up there if you guys want to take a look at it. Cover a lot of different topics, and then we cover other things that happen in the law throughout the week and things that are worth covering besides the trial. So let's see where. We get Twitter up. Did I even? Yeah, no, I know Eric Hunley's got a show, but yeah, no, he didn't send me an invite, so. All right, guys. So yeah, that's it. There's no indication when they're coming back for the Karen Reed trial. Let's see if there's just these reporters usually have an idea because they're gonna go fuck off too. Yeah, okay, I don't see there tomorrow. So, all right. Whatever. All right, guys, so that's it. Thank you all for being here. We're going to take a break, and we'll start up part 2 in a little while. Oh, well, hold on here. Ariel says, I got 1 of 3 finals done. Oh, congrats. Congratulations. Get it done. Knock it out. Almost there. Almost there. Demon's Wrath says that very quick court appearance. No, that was yesterday morning. It was yesterday morning, not today. Not today. So. All right, guys. So I will see you in a little bit, and we will get started. This will send you right over to part 2, and we'll go from there. So see you in a little bit, chat. Take care, guys. Couple minutes. Bye.